Yeah, I think he's feeling better now a little bit. So, but anyway, he said he was going to be here, so we'll see. I don't know what time Tracy got off work and he has to pick her up.
Hope we got the right link.
Yeah,
We'll see where everybody's at.
I think he's feeling better now a little bit. So, but anyway, he said he was going to be here, so we'll see.
Okay, there we go. I think we're in. We are in and good to go. You good over there?
Let's see, what do we got?
Okay, everybody
Wait a
coming
minute.
in. There we go. Everybody's starting to come in.
Let's see. Who is this? Somebody's
Linda!
saying, how do I get on the call?
Uh,
Monique. Well, let's see if I
we're getting messages over here. Let's see what's going on.
logged in early because last week I couldn't get mine to work. Let's see. How do you gonna get her or
The link, what is it?
and Linda says, doesn't the link go live on Zoom? Yeah.
Doesn't go live on Zoom. All right, let's see. We might have
I'm on Zoom.
Are you? Okay, we might be on a wrong. Let me bring it up here.
I see some people popping in there. There's Anna
Yeah. Let's see where.
and Vicky.
Let's see. Invite. Hang on, let me get the copy.
I don't know how to send this to them.
Hang on, I'm going to post it right now. I got it copied. We'll try again.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, I just posted it again, hopefully. Wonder if something got cut off when we copied it, maybe. Every once in a while.
Well, I saw he posted it and I wrote it down earlier, so
Should take you right.
yeah, he's a good boy today.
He's the best little secretary anybody ever had. The fringe benefits are great.
I know.
There he is. There's my Thor boy. There's my baby boy on there. So, all right. Are we getting everybody?
Yeah, the link works.
Okay. Well, we're hoping everybody gets in on the link. We'll keep an eye open, see if anybody is not.
Helen Metcalf says, what's the Zoom link?
Go ahead and post it over there for her. Hey, Helen. I hope she can make it in.
Hey, Jeff said, what's the
Jeff
link to Zoom? Let me see if I can get over there and copy it and send it to him. Well, if I can find it.
Here, I can do it this way. Chat.
I found it, I think, in a whole different area than the other meeting.
Invite copy. Here, fling it. I'll fling it to you. There you go.
You sending it to Jeff?
I know he's got it to Helen and Metcalf over there. Let me try Jeff. Where's he at? Is he on Facebook checking it?
He said Zoom. He said, what's the Zoom link?
If I put it in the chat, well, he ain't in here, so I can't give it to him. Well, shit.
Sue, can you go to your Facebook? Can you go to the Facebook groups right under where you posted, and you can copy that link?
Well, that's what I was thinking
And
about.
if you could send it to his private number, then he'll be able to jump in.
Okay, I can. Well, I've got the YouTube link. I don't have the. Well,
Right,
I've got the number for Zoom. I wrote it down. Duh.
Okay.
Well, you have the link also. The YouTube link is usually second. The Zoom link is usually first. It'll be above it.
Oh, okay.
It'll be right up above.
Let's see. I'm just going to give him what I wrote down. go ahead and get started and
Okay,
I'll
everybody.
mute mine.
We're trying to get everybody in. So we got people over on YouTube. We got some checking in over here. It's been a big, crazy week around here. So we're getting ready to start our next group through, and we are kind of starting at the beginning. We've got a few that are already advanced. Anna, I know a couple of them that have chemistry that's already on the roll. So we are going to be building that chemistry and getting everybody ready to push forward. Hey, Helen, so glad you made it. So good to see you. So we are starting a new group. We started a whole new private group. So we will put everybody over that's taking the coaching group or coaching classes this time. We're going to put them over in this new private group. So we've got a lot of new things on the back end going on. And we're trying to get to where we can just reach more people and be a little bit more organized in this group and everything to try to help everybody moving forward. So if you're in my coaching group right now, please accept the invite into the new group. It's all private, so it's just for the people that we're working with right now. So it's going to be a good little start for everybody. Our numbers in this week, we are staying pretty much carnivore. We're back down to carnivore and a little bit of cheese. Beef, bacon, butter, and eggs is what's on the menu this week for us. We're starting to get pretty consistent. We're starting to push the chemistry a little bit. Of course, he's ready to rock and roll. My body's still kind of slugging along a little bit, and I expect that. So we're going to try again. I had to order a new Keto Mojo, so that's why I'm not posting my numbers over there. But as soon as I get my new meter here, I will be posting right along with you so we can see and learn from each other. Couple posts that I want everybody to check on this week, and I want you to go over and look at on the group is I want to go talk to who was it? I forget the name even of who posted about the protein powder. Did everybody see that about the protein powder? She did her numbers. Is that it? Hang on. She did her numbers while she was doing the protein shake and could not figure out why her glucose was staying so high. And it's a great teaching moment because she was able to see exactly what it did to her numbers. So all she did was take out that protein shake and that glucose will drop. So anytime you're having protein, you want that protein to be chewed and digested, swallowed and digested like a protein should be. When protein is ground up into a fine powder, it goes straight into the bloodstream and straight in raises that glucose. So that's why the protein shakes do not work most of the time for what we're trying to do. Now, that being said, if your kids are on the run and that's the only way you're going to get something decent into them, it's better than a cheeseburger or better than a bun or better than a bag of chips or something like that. So don't worry about it. It's not the end of the world for them, but still, we don't want to raise their glucose either. So it's the same thing as it is for us. So pass on the protein shakes, push them off to the side when you're ready to push this chemistry forward. So protein shakes are a no-go for almost all of us. So I guess I've never seen anybody that can do them. So that being said, we'll check in really quick with everybody, but then I want to come back and I want us to go through Chronometer because we had a thing. Olivia, everybody knows Olivia. She's on her way to Costa Rica tonight. But she's a rock star in this and she has figured out her chemistry to a T. So when we talk about being consistent, Olivia's nailed it. So she's about 5 years consistent and she is forever she's the one that hits a DBR of 4. So this is huge and we just applaud her. She's done the work and stayed consistent. One of the things she brought to my attention that I love that she figured this out. Remember at the beginning of Keto Continuum, we all put in rigorous keto calculator and total carbs. Okay. For some of us, that drops our protein really low. That's okay at the beginning when you're adjusting and you're trying to get everything going because at the beginning and the first few steps of this, remember when we say, get the carbs down as low as you can, eat the protein. We're not worried as much about everything else at the beginning. Once your chemistry gets moving though, those things do become important. And Dr. Boz even posted a video of some of the things that she would change a little bit or that she was wrong about in 2023. So that video is over in the group and Olivia did a great explanation of explaining where it is in there, but you may have to readjust your macros in your chronometer. So that's something we'll do in our coaching group with everybody that needs it. But just know that is something you're going to have to adjust. I know Lance, the first time he went through and lost all the weight and dropped down, got fat adapted and was killing it. He had to really increase his fats because he was dropping down. He was leaned out so much. He didn't have hardly any body fat left. He was so lean. If he dropped down on his fats, his energy tanked, his ketones tanked. So he was having to add extra fats and keep those macros up. So that is something I want you all to be mindful of. So if you hit a roadblock, you hit a spot that you're holding tight and not gaining anything, we may have to adjust your macros. So don't be afraid to reach out and do that. again, the coaching group will go through it together, but I know some people are going to need help with that. So be mindful of it. Check your chronometer, see where you're at. Let's check in real quick and see if anybody has any questions or when. Let's try to keep everything to a question, a win, a struggle, and a question. So we can keep everything moving tonight. We got to keep going. Come on in, Anna. You want to check in first?
Hi, thank
welcome.
you.
Good to see you.
The win is that I'll look at my numbers, that I have been under 80 quite a few times
Nice.
in the last, not every time, but let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times.
Nice.
Shocking. Yeah.
See?
And,
Okay.
yeah. And I was very surprised last night. Yesterday, it was my significant other's and our anniversary went out. I
happy
I was
anniversary.
good with, thank you. And I was good, but I did have half and half of my coffee, and I ate later than I normally eat. So this morning my sugar was higher, 104. Not horrible. I mean, but I've been under a 100 more often than not, and even in the 80s at some point. But my ketones were the highest ever. They were 2.0. So I was still 52, my whole thing. So big win in that regard. So but I have
Congratulations.
been
Good job.
drinking. Thank you. I have been drinking ketones, like a half a thing a glass. I do need it. I think not every day, but most often. So that'll have to do. My struggle.
Wait, let me jump in real quick.
Yeah.
On the switch up for the thing, the only thing I'd recommend in your switch up, sounds like you're going great. I'd switch at half and half to heavy cream.
I never use it. It's something I did last night.
Okay, so that's just
So
a
I
treat.
was just saying, yeah.
Gotcha.
I never use
And
it.
that eating late is gonna struggle you, but if you're still having good numbers, the next step we want to do, and we'll talk about this tomorrow night in class, we want to get your body making the ketones so you're not drinking them. So having that 2.0 is going to be kind of a false reading, but that's okay because we're stimulating that liver right now and getting everything moving, teaching your body how to make some ketones. So you're doing great. Keep going. Okay, what next?
Yeah. And the struggle is that today wasn't so bad. I have days that I'm really hungry. So that's it. And we could talk about it I think I hit my 3 things just now that you wanted to know.
Okay. If you're still hungry, up your fats. Get the butter bites in, the brown butter bites, getting,
Yeah.
extra butter
I
in your
bought that
coffee.
butter. I'll make it.
Yeah. Do that.
Yeah. And I've been doing the salt, Lance. Thank you. In the coffee.
Good.
Thank God.
Yes.
Okay.
Anytime you're feeling hungry like that, up those fats and get some more protein in you and fats. You don't have to go to more carbs, but go to more protein and more fats until you're full.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Good job, Anna. We're proud of you. Nice work this week.
Thanks.
Come on in, Helen. Come and check in. I'm so glad you made it. Good to see you. Helen was one of my people over in our 21-day kick butt course, and she's been kicking butt ever since. So come on in, Helen, jump in.
Hi. I was just like writing down what I would, I haven't figured out all 3 of those, but I definitely have a win. I just came back from a 2-week vacation, and
Nice.
I didn't completely stay on program. I did a lot of OMAD, but I was on a very small tropical island, and eating low carb was actually not that easy for eating out. I don't think they know what a lettuce wrapped hamburger is.
Nice.
Although there was a lot of fresh food. But I was on vacation, and it was very relaxing, and I decided not to be overly concerned with it. I came back, I was 6 pounds heavier. That was a week ago, and I am back down to only half a pound above what I was when I left. So
Good job.
I lost 5.5 pounds in a week. So
Nice work.
I'm very happy about that. So
Congratulations.
And it gave me a lot of confidence that I know exactly what to do. Yep. And my body reacted the way it should when I came back. So that made me very happy.
Ellen, congratulations in that. Does everybody understand what that means for her? That means she's becoming metabolically flexible, which is the goal we all want. We don't want to have to, I don't want to count carbs and stuff for the rest of my life, but I know how to live this lifestyle. And she did exactly right. She went and enjoyed her vacation. She didn't stress over it, did the best she could do. But when she got home, she knows how to clean up. And just know when she says she gains 6 pounds in 2 weeks, you will literally blow up that fast. It's so easy to reverse it, but she knows exactly how to deal with it and to turn that health around and get those numbers right back on board. She's a veteran, so her body is learning that switch back and forth, and that's what we want to accomplish. Now, if you're major insulin resistant and you still have a lot of work to do, that's not going to be such an easy fix for you. I come home from vacation, I'm a month trying to get back on my numbers, or I have to jump in and white knuckle it through a sardine challenge or a fast or something like that. For her to be able to just jump in and get her numbers going, that's saying that switch is starting to work in her body and that insulin resistance getting less and less. And that's the goal, what we are all looking for. So good job, Helen. I'm proud of you. Nice work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I guess my question is, I'm really curious what you just said about the chronometer numbers being different, because actually, you know a little bit about this history, but I had a heart attack in November. My cholesterol was crazy. I've never seen my numbers looked really strange to me compared to what they have been in the past. Turns out my heart attack was not because of arteriosclerosis or my cholesterol. I had something very unusual called a spontaneous coronary artery dissection, which is very unusual. It's where part of the inside of an artery breaks off and creates a blockage. And I ended up having to have a stent. But because my cholesterol numbers looked weird, I ended up consulting with a cardiologist who's also a lipidemiologist who is also keto. And
win.
Yeah. So he looked at my numbers and I told him what I had set on my chronometer, and he was shocked because my protein was really low. And actually, I've always had difficulty staying under the chronometer number for me, and also had difficulty meeting the fat number, which was really high. So he wanted me to make an adjustment to my protein and up it as much as I could. And I actually ended up buying a cholesterol checker that I can do at home.
Nice.
And I rechecked my cholesterol like 6 weeks after I started making some changes. And the two numbers that were really concerning were my triglycerides and HDL, which had gone in the wrong direction. And after 6 weeks, they were beginning to recover back to where they were before. So anyway, I had not heard about the chronometer thing with Dr. Boz, and I really like.
Okay, so just to kind of reiterate, and this is one of those things that you're going to have to play with. This is part of learning your chemistry. Once your chemistry gets going and your carbs are down low, that protein and fat ratio can be played with then. So some people are going to get fat adapted really easy and no problem. Some of us got to drag that out a little bit longer. But a good rule of thumb, and this is actually what I'm going to try as soon as my meter gets here and I can get it checking everything again. It's another thing like Primal does is take what is your goal weight? So if your goal weight's 130 pounds, you would take 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body mass. So if your goal weight would be 130, we would shift your protein to 130 grams. Okay. So it's just a little tweak in there, and it just seems so much more doable, because remember back in the day that I always struggled with the protein too, because I always said, I am not eating OMAD and walking away hungry. I'm not doing it. Yeah. I mean, it was just something it didn't sit right with me to be at, a cup, 3 ounces of protein or 4 ounces of protein or whatever. And then I would be hitting that macro. So I would, if you want to try it, if you're ready now at the beginning, when you have to make a lot of adjustments and you're trying to make sure everything is moving in the right direction, you may need to do something, be a little bit stricter. But for the long haul in this, Olivia had hers down way too low and she lost a lot of muscle mass and she started losing her hair and things like that. We upped her protein a little bit and then things started kicking back in. So it may be something you need to try. And again, that is part of learning your chemistry and see what works. So tracking in Chronometer and testing with Keto Mojo is the 2 ways that you're going to learn what your body needs and how to do it. So we're going to be able to tell that moving forward. It's not a guess. We'll see what's working and what's not. We'll mark a day of, here's the day I started up in my protein, still keeping my carbs as low as I can. Most of us veterans on here, if you check with them, most of us are carnivore by now. I eat a salad maybe once a week when we go to a restaurant while I'm waiting for my steak to come. And then I just get a Caesar salad, extra dressing, no croutons, period. So it's pretty simple, but for the most part, we're beef, bacon, butter, and eggs before, that was even the cool thing to be, but it is so stupid simple. So check your macros, see your chronometer, see where you're at. If everything's working, hold tight. If it's not working and you've hit a stall, then we'll tweak your chronometer numbers and play with it a little bit, but you got to check your numbers and see what your glucose is doing, see what your ketones are doing, and see where your macros are at. So good job, Helen. Thanks for sharing. What you got?
Just figured it out on that chronometer because you said 1 gram per pound.
Mhm.
Chronometer is set at 1 gram per kilogram. And
So that's-
1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds.
That's why you have to multiply it by the 2.2.
Double it.
So it's a whole math formula over there, but to figure it simply, the way you would think of it is 1 gram of protein per pound of body mass. That makes sense. Did I say that right?
No.
1 pound. So if your goal weight is 130 pounds, your protein would be 130 grams of protein. Does that make sense? Is that better?
Is that right? Is that what he's saying? Because I thought he was saying it should be 1 gram per kilogram.
Because
What is
the
which would be
way
divide by 2.2.
Yeah, that's you divide it by 2.2.
So that would bring you
That's-
down to, if your goal weight is 130, you'd be looking at 65, something between 60 and 65 grams. I mean, that's just the math in my head.
Yeah.
But if you divide by 2, it would be 65 grams.
But then that almost takes you back to that rigorous level, don't
I
it?
know, and that's just
rigorous.
where I was. Yeah.
rigorous is 1 gram per kilogram of lean body mass.
So,
Yeah.
so what I'm saying in that's the setting that comes up in there. But we're finding that is too low of protein for some people when they get on down the track. So instead of sticking with the formula of all of it, then you're going to ease that up a little bit. And like I said, I'm not going to eat 1 meal of protein or 1 meal a day and walk away hungry. I'm still hungry after a few ounces of meat. I need that extra. So if you're fine, and that's what Olivia found, that little bit of protein done that way on the chronometer was not enough. So we upped her to 1 pound of protein per pound of lean body mass, or 1 gram. Gee, the cow, 1 gram of protein per pound of your ideal body weight. Does that make sense? Did I say that right? Let me say that again. 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body mass. So if your goal weight is 130, your protein would be 130 grams of protein. And if you look at that, that's a lot more protein than what we were used to doing. Nita's trying to get in. Help her get in. So that's what we're getting at. And it is confusing. So again, it's one of those things we're going to have to tweak it and see where we get and what everybody finds out. Olivia had great results with it. Her muscle mass is coming back. Her osteopenia is better. She's feeling better. Her hair's not falling out. So it may be one of those things that, again, that's why we learn each of our own chemistries. That's how we judge it. That's how we move forward. That's how we know how to progress you, is knowing those numbers. And it's Chronometer and Keto Mojo. I mean, that's how we do the work. So good job. Come on in, Sue. Come and check in. Tell us how you're doing.
I'm doing good as far as I know. I'm still here.
Hey, that's a win. It's a plus where we're all showing up tonight. So that's a win.
Yeah, I think that's great. I reset my settings too. I'm at 220. I don't care who knows it. I want to be at 130. Let's see what happens. But I reset my fat at 115. I set my carbs at 15 because I want to make sure I have room.
Yep.
So as far as I'm concerned, that 115, then I set my protein at 115.
Good. I'd be really keep doing that. I would keep checking it and see what your numbers do and how you feel.
Right. Yeah, I feel fine. And it's way more food than I was eating.
Mm-hmm.
So I've expanded. If I get hungry, I'll eat the second time. But right now, my settings for today, I've got to get back to it. I've only had 70% of my protein, and I've only had 5.4 carbs. and 66% of my fat. So do I need to leave it there, or do I need to
Well,
push
it's-
and eat the rest of that?
What time zone are you in? Are you getting pretty late over there? Where are you
Yeah,
at?
it's like 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Well, 7:25.
Unless you have some butter bites or something like that, maybe get a little bit of fat in you. But if not, I just tap out for the night and start fresh tomorrow.
That's what I'm gonna do. But
Yep.
should I push to make sure I get all my fat in? I
would
know you're
try.
supposed to get all your protein.
Yeah. You want to get the protein because you don't want to lose muscle mass at this point. You want to we want you to build, we want you to be getting stronger, building the molecule or the cellular level to build health moving forward. We want you to have that extra protein.
Okay.
So I would meet your protein, but the fat is what's going to keep you fuller. So, and
Yeah.
if you still have that much weight on you to lose, you want it to be, you got to unlock that fat from the cell. So that's going to take you ingesting the fat at first. So
Yeah,
go ahead and
okay.
ingest it and do the best you can do. I mean, don't make yourself sick, don't
No,
cram it and make yourself sick, but if you can comfortably try to hit those goals, follow those goals for a little bit till we see what your chemistry does. If you feel
well,
good,
that's what I thought.
Yep.
Yeah, try it
You
for
got
2 or 3 days, maybe a week, and see what happens. And if it doesn't work, we'll change it.
there you go.
But right now, I am absolutely not hungry.
Good job. Nice work.
So,
All right, Linda, you want to come and check in? Oh, we got you muted. Hang on.
Yeah,
Oh, hang on. We hit each other. We bumped you at the same time. Sorry. No, got you muted still. There you
okay,
go.
there we go. Back.
Thank you.
Yeah. Woohoo! All right. So I was just over in Chronometer looking at my numbers and trying to see if I could figure out how to change them because I've not done that. And I am on the default setting, and I frequently go over in protein, like frequently because I've been still hungry. I'm 5'7". And I've like never been a tiny person, and so it's not going to happen now unless I amazingly shrink. So anyway, my win for the week would be that I've actually recorded for 7 days on Chronometer, so I'm very very happy
That's
with
a
that.
win. Good job.
Yes, I'm also my glucose this morning was 70, and the only times I've managed to achieve that is either been when I've been fasting or I've been doing a sardine thing, and
Nice.
so I haven't done a sardine thing, but I have done a let's eat sardines as well as something else, right? So I've done that, which you're absolutely right. I mean, you cannot overeat sardines. You just can't. That's
You
like
can't.
impossible. But so anyway, I had, believe it or not, I had some steak, and then I cooked the sardines and the juices from the steak. That was rather yummy, actually. So that was the win. Actually, I don't have too many losses. Another win was I got through the deliberative session in town. I work in a small town in Hudson, New Hampshire. And a deliberative session is when all the people get together to talk about what the budget's going to be for next year. And the library looked like it survived. So my stress went down, which was really nice. But my question is, I was scrolling through Chronometer, and I was looking at the micronutrients. And okay, so I mean, and whatever you tell me here, I'm not going to lose my mind. I'm not going to jump ship. I'm in this for the long haul. But I'm just interested. Is it because nutrients from plant-based sources are less absorbable, or is there a lesser need for certain nutrients when you're eating, and I'm going to say keto edging towards carnivore, so kind of doing like everybody else
Pretty
does,
much
but
is going to give you everything you need. Everything
Yeah.
over in that plant-based world is it is amazing to me. And you're speaking to a girl that used to be vegetarian. So it pains me to be able to say this and understand it now, but all the things that we used to eat, those fruits and the veggies and everything we're getting what we need for the building blocks for the cell,
right.
eating the meat. And
Yeah.
it's as much as it's hard to beat in our heads, it's hard to accept, it's hard to swallow, but it's one of those, when you start eating the meat, it's like the nutrient level is so much higher. You're not worrying about oxalates. You're not worrying about all the things going against it, everything. And I mean, I'm amazed at how stupid simple it is. And it's probably the best I've ever felt,
Yeah.
because do you remember like back in the vegan or the vegetarian or whatever you were? Do you remember those ups and downs that it was like, oh my gosh, you know, that whole got to eat 15 times a day or you're going to die wasn't a
Right.
joke, because I literally felt like every 2 hours I would die if I didn't get food in me again. When we
Right.
get our chemistry correct and we get moved on to OMAD, we're fine. You
Right.
know, I'm not starving all day. I'm not wanting to punch somebody in the face, and I'm not wanting to chew my own arm off.
That's good for Lance too.
Right?
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
it's a win-win the whole way around.
Right.
And he likes
well,
being fed steak all day, so he's good. He's like a king.
I have one more thing is that I had to go see a cardiologist because of a thing that happened when I came out of an anesthetic. Okay. I went to see this cardiologist who was interestingly quite tubby, and he asked me what I was eating. And I'm sorry, yes, he was definitely fluffy, as my very polite friends would say, fluffy. He asked me what I was eating, and I so badly wanted to say, I'm eating almost carnivore. What are you eating? And so, but I didn't. So, but anyway, we had a fairly engaging conversation in why he wanted me to go with lean proteins, predominantly white chicken meat, cut the fats. And I asked him why he would want that when my LDLs were down and my VLDLs were down and my HDL was up and everything else was looking pretty good. I asked him why he'd want me to go back to eating the way I had been eating before. I managed to lose this, weight and get the blood numbers and
Better
everything
numbers.
else. And he just goes, well, it's just generally considered to be the best diet. And I said, well, I hate to be like your mom, but I'm not going to do what you're saying. But you can put it down that I am. But I'm going to let you know right now up front, because I'm not that kind of person.
But don't you just, that's the point. If what we were doing worked,
yeah, I
your
wouldn't have been
numbers
there.
wouldn't be out of whack. And
That's
looking
right.
at him, I don't mean disrespect, but if what you're doing is working, great. But it's obviously not working. You just become a protocol. And here's the checklist of what you're told to do when this happens. That is, follow the money trail back on that checklist. That's exactly how you have to almost look at it, is follow the damn money trail back. And you're going to see where that checklist that taught him to give you that response to those numbers, because he don't know how to fix you. He don't know how to reverse it. You know how to reverse the damage and get it turned around. So prove it to yourself. You don't have to prove it to him, prove it to yourself. So you are comfortable with the decisions you make moving forward.
Yes. Yes, I am.
So good work. Good
Thank
job
you.
though for bringing it up to him. Nice work.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yes. Come on in, Frida.
Okay, me. You
Hey,
surprised
come on
me. Okay, one big win for the week. Last Tuesday, I left my home and went to my grandkids to take care of them for the week. Stayed on plan every day.
Nice.
Discovered I love buffalo wings.
Nice.
I got them pizza. I ate buffalo wings with the dip.
Yep. With some blue cheese, fatty dressing. Good job.
Yeah, it was good. Anyway, my ketone numbers, blood ketones, it's really funny. They've gone starting on the 1st of February. It was 0.5. I've gone 1 point more every day. 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8. Today was 0.9.
Nice.
I'm going in the right direction.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this afternoon I
job.
tested and it was 1.3, but that's after having coffee. So
There
it's
you
just, it was funny.
First of all, I want to say congratulations being grandma and going in and realizing it's not about the food on your plate. It's not about eating the pizza with the kids. It's being with the kids. So it's about the love. So good job for you in making that and understanding that you can eat all the buffalo wings you want and you're fine. You're with your kids and you're having fun.
Yeah,
Good job.
we really enjoyed our time. 2 weeks ago I did go off, and it's taken me 2 full weeks to get back to where I was. So I'm not doing that again.
Good job.
It's not fun. Now my glucose numbers are still over 100.
Okay.
They're pretty steady, 119, 118, 112 one day.
Now, is that your first morning reading?
Yes. Get up. I actually take my reading as soon as I get out of bed.
Nice. Yes.
which might be 8 o'clock.
So that's okay. It doesn't matter what time, just so you know, when you first get up, that
Yeah.
first morning reading is the one that's saying where your metabolic health is. So just
Yeah.
that is showing how insulin resistant you are. So this is where consistent is going to bring that glucose down. You know,
Okay.
when you get into the fasting and your chemistry is ready to fast, that's where you're going to clean up that glucose and that glycogen out of the liver. You know, all
Okay.
that stuff will clean up down the road, but this is just rinse and repeat until you get
Okay.
that rhythm going and you're making good ketones, your glucose will start coming down, and then you're ready to start fasting. All that's going to happen in
There's
those
more
advanced
stuff.
levels. Yep. You're doing
Well,
it.
I'm most every day, I'm not hungry at all. I mean, I have a cup of coffee with some heavy cream in it.
Okay.
And then I don't really want to eat until 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
What time are you having your coffee?
When I get up around 8:39.
Okay. The next thing I would challenge you to is that opens your eating window at 8 o'clock in the morning. So that means you have an 8-9 hour eating window.
Okay.
So let's move either dinner earlier or coffee later and close that eating window a little bit, because that's going to help you start lowering that morning glucose.
So even if I don't eat anything else for the day, the coffee and then dinner, is that okay?
What level of keto continuum are you on? Have you done every step along the way?
I have.
Okay.
I thought last week I was on about 5.
Okay.
Still having, my coffee with cream in it. I was eating twice a day, but I'm finding I am really not hungry in the morning.
Okay. If you're really not that hungry, then I'd push that morning coffee to at least lunch. And let's see how you do for a week or so, having a shorter eating window. And is it a possibility to ever move your supper up, or is that a pretty hard stay?
No, my son and I live here. I can have it whenever I fix it.
Okay. Oh, there you go. So that's a win. So what I would suggest, move that coffee a little bit up towards noon, and maybe move dinner up an hour. So you're
Which
getting
I did today. I had it at 4:30 today because I wanted to be on this call.
nice. So whenever the earlier you finish up and close it up and then zip it for the night, the better that morning glucose will start being.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm on the right track.
Yep.
Same weight. I have weighed the same for like a month now. Like 2 ounces up, 2 ounces down, but the same weight.
Don't go by the scales. You're going by your chemistry.
All right.
And if
that's me.
If you find if you need coffee in the morning, try to do it either plain or with salt, just to get that caffeine, maybe headache away. If you push it out too far, you may encounter like a caffeine headache or something.
Okay.
Try to not have your fatty coffee, just have a plain coffee or coffee
Black
and
tea,
salt,
black coffee,
something like that.
Okay.
First thing in the morning, that won't open up your window. It's when you put the cream or the butter in your coffee or the sweetener, that's when it opens up your eating window.
So is there another drink besides coffee or tea that would be good?
We love our Soda Stream, and anybody that has a Soda Stream, we put our Soda Stream water. We just put plain water, Soda Stream it, and we use either essential oils, and I'll use orange, lemon, lime, anything like that. And I think I have links over on the website if you need any of them. You want a good medical quality that you can ingest the oil. So that's why doTERRA is a little bit more expensive, but I know I can put it in my body. If you go buy a cheaper oil, there's no guarantees what they are. Or just
interesting.
Take a slice of lemon or lime, put a squeeze in your little fizzy water. It's so refreshing. I love it. I mean, it's like our favorite drink. So there's a link over on our website. I'll put it in the group today too, again, and just put the link for the Soda Stream over there that we love. We go through it like crazy. It's just cheaper, it's easier, and there's nothing in it but your water.
Yeah. So, I could probably give up coffee, I think.
Well, good for you.
If there was something. I'm saying I think.
He can go to black with salt, so he can do the black with salt.
I'll just take out my butter after I get really rolling, and I'll go just straight coffee and salt.
Yeah, so just got her Soda Stream. Look at Linda.
All right. Well, I'm going to
good job
to you guys. So yeah. Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
And I just want to, first of all, Frida, Sue, all of you over in the group that are keeping the comments going and everything. Thank you. That helps so much. And that helps me keep going when I can't get over there. So I'm coaching and teaching. I love that you guys are over in the group helping and answering each other's questions and cheering each other on. So everybody, please do that for us. It really helps the algorithm, as stupid as that sounds. Make the comments in there. It does help us. It's a way you can help us without spending a penny. It's just
I have one more question.
Sure.
On posting in Facebook, I noticed a couple of people that I am friends with way out have made comments about what I'm doing. So your group is public?
Yes, my
So
group is
everybody
public.
can see it.
But
Okay.
here's what I want to challenge you.
Yeah.
You're building your health. Who
Right.
cares who sees it? What are they going to
Yeah,
see? Your
I just
glucose and your
wondered.
so I guess I have people that'll ask that, and we keep
Okay.
our groups because we have affiliate links, and some of the like Amazon and stuff, you're required to keep the group public. So that is,
Okay.
it's our business group. So that is where we grow for business. So we keep that one open. But I want to challenge you, if that struggles you, why do you care if anybody sees your glucose or ketones?
Yeah,
No.
it was actually my son commented, he was glad and he lives with me and sees me going through this. So, yeah.
And I just challenge everybody, lead by example. So even if
Okay.
nobody's not doing it, if they don't agree with it, if they don't like it, if they disapprove, I'm doing what is best for me and my health, and I'm proving it to myself every day with my numbers. I'm not following somebody else because this is work. It's not I don't even know how to explain what the word I'm looking for without being snarky. It's not about what everybody else needs. This is what my body needed to heal. Nobody cared when we were eating crazy and eating all the fruit in the
Yeah.
world. My glucose was all over the place, and I was taking Oxycontin every day just to be able
Yeah,
to.
and they say, "Oh, you're overweight. Let's go to dinner."
No shit. Right? I mean, but it was that moment of nobody cared when you were on 15 medications.
And killing yourself with every bite.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now that we're reversing it, you have people come out of the woodwork wanting to talk you down. And it's like, you know what? I am comfortable with what I'm choosing to do with my health. That, yep, the group is public and I don't care who sees it. And I would
Okay.
challenge every one of you
Thank
to
you.
stand in that position. If it's
Yeah.
somebody that truly loves you, they're going to see the change. They're going to see the results of what you're doing. Is that us?
Who is?
Hang on a minute. Whoop. Yep. All right, here we go. There we go. Sorry about that. Don't know where. Can you
Yeah,
send
my
to me?
son-in-law and my daughter and my son are just so supportive of
Good.
what I'm doing. So it's good.
Well, that's a blessing because we have a lot of people that don't have the support on the family. And that's
Right.
hard. It is so hard when you have people. I've had a heart attack. So you can imagine what some of the people want to tell me.
Right.
What?
Well,
You had the
my
heart attack because you're
42-year-old
doing it.
son, my 42-year-old son is diabetic. He's on dialysis right now. He just had a heart attack last year and he
Oh.
fell and broke his shoulder.
I'm so sorry.
This
Please,
kid's got stuff going on.
right? Get him over here in the group. I'd
So
be happy to help him.
the
So-
more healthy I am, the more healthy he stays.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you're going to lead by example because you're going to do it and he's going to see the results. And encourage him, get him over in the groups. Any place I can help, if I can get on a live with you too, I'd be happy to. I'm a heart
Okay.
attack survivor too, and I know how scary it is, but I
Very
prove
scary.
it to myself. I prove it to myself. My
Yeah.
doctor may not understand it. I mean, I fly to Texas to see my keto cardiologist and we're in Ohio. So I take it that serious because my doctor here don't quite understand it, but I trust it and I prove it to myself with my numbers.
Okay.
So you'll
Good.
do the same thing. Lead by example. Good job, Frida.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Miss Jean, come on in, my little Jean rock star.
Hello, how are
Hello,
you?
dear. Good, how are you surviving?
I'm surviving fine.
Good.
Today's the first full day of our sardine challenge in the 21-day metabolic kick. And so I just wanted to come by and say hello.
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 We love
Yeah.
having you.
I just, I don't really have much of an update of anything new going on, It's
Good.
just nice to sit here and be a fly on the wall in your meeting as opposed to being the one in the front of the class in my meeting. So I love hearing all the advice and questions and stuff from other folks. But we've had I have a good group of folks that their ketones didn't move as much as some of them thought it would today.
Right.
And so, well, why is that? It's like, because you're probably really insulin resistant. That's why, give it another day. And then there were others. It's like, oh my goodness, you should see what my ketones have done, with one can of sardines. So, but I don't have anybody in my group this time that just won't eat them,
Nice.
So it's like, suck it up and just
Does
try.
everybody understand what Jean's talking about with the sardine challenge? It's not
Sardine
actually a fast because you're consuming sardines, but it teaches you so much. There's so many
Yeah.
things that you will learn from that time. First of all, for me, the big takeaway in it is if a 4.5 ounce can of sardines fill me up, I really do not need a 22 ounce ribeye. But that was my mental game in it. So I can tell myself that. But for the sardine challenge, if you want to do it, you can also prove to yourself, are you truly hungry? Or do you want to eat? And when you start flipping that switch in your brain and really processing it, because nobody's going down and gorging on 5 cans of sardines, but I'll eat that whole 22 ounce ribeye and walk away and act like I needed it, kind of thing. So when you get the difference of being hungry and wanting something, the sardines really help you learn all that. So go ahead, Jean.
Absolutely. I mean, that was, as far along as I am in my journey now, I'm having to deal with portion control because, like you, I could eat a whole, 20-ounce steak too, and so you have to learn how to turn that off and just, cut it in half or cut it in four and save it for another day. With the sardines, you don't really have that problem because
1 can, I'm good.
a little
I'm,
can.
I'm fine.
I like sardines. I don't have a problem with them. I mean, if one of my students today, he said, "Well, how many are we supposed to eat?" I was like, "Well, you're not supposed to eat a certain number. It's supposed, you should get satiated, and then you will stop eating them. It's hard to overeat them." I said, "Now, if you're eating 6, 7, 8 cans of sardines in a day, you have more problems. That's that you have a problem regulating how much food you eat, and that's why you're in, the situation that you may be in."
But you
So
can see where that carries over. And
Yeah.
she's saying that kind of, it's as a wisecrack to say, if you're going 7, 8, 9 cans, you're over. But even take that down, if you're down to 4 and 5 cans and
Right.
you just keep wanting. And Lance struggles with this as much as he'll lean out and do it. He struggles with that volume. He wants tonnage. And sometimes it's like, you look at him and it's like, dude, you can't be eating that. It's like, you can't still be hungry, but you watch, I don't know how it goes, what the thought process in your head is.
Thought process is it, you get it down to, it's the games that you play in your mind. You get it down to 1 meal a day and you're like, oh, this is the only time I get to eat today. And I'm going to pack it. I'm going to eat
pack
the whole
it in.
entire hour. You know what I mean? So some of that goes into my mind of, I'm not going to eat till tomorrow at this same time. I'm going to get as much as I can right now. And there's a balance. There's a balance of, if I was at the time that we were doing this, I wasn't getting enough fat. So what I did eat, I wasn't getting enough out of. So that kind of reinforced, man, I got to eat more. I got to eat more. Well, I was paying attention to my fat to protein ratio that I needed to run on. And that was more of the issue than the not getting enough to eat. But once I got my fats up to where I needed, I couldn't eat that whole hour. Ain't no way. So
Exactly. And that's one of the things that I'm working on. I really don't usually eat an OMAD or a 1 meal a day. I have I have a eating window that's probably about 5 hours. And I usually try to stop eating by 2 p.m. But unlike Frida, I like my coffee first thing in the morning. So, and I generally, if I get up too early and it's going to push my eating window to close at like noon, I'll drink tea or black coffee with salt. I won't put anything in it. But when I add that cream, that timer starts right then and there.
Yep.
Butter, cream, and sweetener all start your timer. Keep that in mind. And that's a good thing we all have to remember, because sometimes you think, oh, it's just a little bit of butter, it's a little bit of fat, bulletproof coffee, you're doing all the things, but that starts your window. So
yeah, it's very easy to justify it. Oh, it's just a little bit of butter. It's just a little bit of coconut oil or something like that, But yeah, you have to remember to start your window. That opens your window. And then for me, as a little tip, I usually take my phone and I set my timer for when my last bite can go
Bite?
in, you know. If it's
Nice.
2 o'clock, at 2 o'clock, my alarm goes off and my phone actually says, "Shut your mouth, Jean, you don't get anything else."
I love it.
That's the label on my alarm. Shut your mouth now.
Shut your mouth. You're done.
Shut your mouth. It's all done. So
You know what? I
but-
love that though, Jean. I really do. And if
Yeah.
you need reminders like that, that's an excellent tool. I mean,
Yeah.
who goes anywhere without your phone beside you?
Exactly.
And I
Again,
think, go ahead.
games you play with your mind
Yep.
to make it do what you want to do.
I mean, the same thing. We have a fridge. Our fridge has like a big iPad kind of thing on the front of it. And we literally have a picture of us with Dr. Boz that says, "Shut the damn door,"
You're
Yeah.
not hungry.
on the front of our fridge, because it's that reminder of we're not hungry. We're just, it's a habit. It's hard.
It's mainly for me.
No.
Well, I can definitely tell the difference in my numbers the next morning if I go beyond my normal eating window. Even if even if I close it, if I open it later and go later in the afternoon to eat, if I have an event of some sort and it's like, well, I'll just wait and start eating at noon and I have to eat at 6. I just don't get the good results of my glucose numbers and my ketone numbers as I do when I just move that eating window closer to sunrise and stop it earlier in the afternoon. So, my social life takes a hit, but I don't have much of a social life anyway. When I do any kind of social eating, it's usually with my kids and their families. So, and I'm the one doing the cooking. So I just go over to their house and it's like, all right, I'm ready to eat now because I have to stop eating at a certain time. So I'm going to eat early and then I'll sit and talk with you guys.
Mom's out here.
Yeah. So
But again, it
anyway.
comes down to what kind of mind games do you need to play with yourself, and whatever works, do it. I mean, it is truly, if setting an alarm on your phone reminds you, if a note on your fridge reminds you, if it's just playing the head game of, I mean, I told you guys before, some of you guys have heard the story, but Lance and I quit watching TV for a whole spring and summer because we would sit down at night, we'd get done working, you go up, you'd sit down on the couch, we'd watch a movie, first commercial, one of us go pee and the other one heads to the fridge. Next commercial, we swapped places. The other one went peed and the other one went back to the fridge. And it was like, you know what? We're tapping out because sitting down and watching a movie makes us do that. So that's when we tapped out. We went boating all summer and it was the best date nights we had. We may only go boating for an hour, but it got us out of the house. We'd go out, watch the sunset on the lake, come back in, put the boat away, drive home. It was so, and it made a bonding experience out of it instead of a negative of, oh my gosh, we can't eat tonight or we can't this or we can't that, whatever. It was a positive. So we were still getting that dopamine response because we thoroughly enjoyed the time together, so you may have to do little things but it was a head game trick. It was just, if you can't handle watching TV, then guess what? We don't watch TV. No big deal. So a lot of better things to do.
That's all I got. I don't want to take up any more time of your
Good job, Jean. Tell everybody hi over in the 21 day. I miss y'all.
Sure will. All right.
All right. Who do we have? Jennifer, you want to come in and check in?
Can you hear me?
We can. Come on in. Welcome.
This is my first time I actually get to talk.
Welcome. Good job.
But I've been keto since the beginning of, I've been keto for years, but I kept falling off the wagon. So but now it's been since the beginning of December, pretty much. And right now I'm at a place where my blood glucose is in the 80s every morning, and the ketones are in the 2s at times.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I like that, but I'm just wondering, what do I need to look for to know to move to the next step, which would be OMAD or fasting for a day or two,
How long have you done every step of keto continuum?
Not every step. I mean, I'm still working down through the steps. So the next step would be
23 and 1 OMAD.
So if you're doing advanced, are you at 6 now, 16 and 8?
16 and 8. Sometimes I do one meal a day. Like I'll skip a day. I mean, I'll skip a meal because I'm not hungry. But
okay. But what I want to make sure, what I'm asking you is between 4 and 6, you got to hold tight right there too. Your chemistry catches up with you. So when you're ready to push forward, You're going to feel like, first of all, you're not hungry for 2 meals. Like she was saying, where, okay, you cannot have the second meal today, or you can go straight and do the 1 meal a day.
Mhm.
Your numbers will start showing it. Your glucose will come down. Those ketones will start on the rise. All those things will start kicking in. And then, you're ready to push to the next level. First of all, how hungry are you feeling?
So I'm looking for my ketones to go on the rise, not to go down to nothing.
Oh,
I'm trying to figure out if I'm supposed to be adapted to where I'm at before I push to the next level, or if I should, I'm comfortable where I'm at, if I should really start pushing for the 1 meal a day right now.
How long have you been at 2 meals a day?
Oh, like 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay. Then if you've been there 3 or 4 weeks and you're comfortable and you're feeling your chemistry is stable, then go ahead and do the 1 meal a day and watch your numbers. I would try to make it as early in the day as you can, just like we were saying earlier.
Yeah.
As early in the day as you can, but hit your macros and keep going during that 1 hour, 2 hours even, just, get that eating window
Really
closed up.
small
So-
window. Yeah.
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 Smaller.
Yeah, I can do that. And then after that would be the fasting for like 24 hours or not 24,
But you got, nope, I wouldn't even look at that. Let's get you stable at OMAD.
Yeah.
Get good and
And
stable.
roll that
for a
out
few
for a
weeks.
while, and
That's-
the biggest thing is to make it clean, to do it, to keep polishing it, just tweaking it by doing it a little bit better and a little bit better. You can do 16 and 8, but if you do it clean, if you do it,
no calories in your mouth
just
except for
as
that.
tight as you can. Same thing with OMAD. If you do OMAD tight and clean and very specific, you roll that for a while, then let your body get used to that
Like, get
first
used to that for a couple weeks.
before you'll transition, because you'll actually kind of fall into the next step. I mean, right now you're at 16 and 8. You sound like you're getting ready to fall into that 23 and 1 from what you're saying and what your numbers are doing. So you're right on that borderline of flipping to the next level. That's when you need to just do it cleaner. Just do it that much cleaner, and it'll just take you into that.
And
You'll
most
just
of us
fall,
will
boom.
find one of the things that we'll find too is you'll do it good for 3 or 4 days, but then you're going to have something outside that eating window.
backside.
Yep.
And that may not be something bad, but just open that eating window back up to 6 or 8 hours for Saturday. Or, try to get a couple weeks of truly nothing, no calories in, except for that little eating window, that 23 and 1, 22 and 2, whatever it comes out to for you. I screwed up because as soon as I start cooking, I start tasting things. So it's so I actually call mine like a 22 and 2 because I cook for an hour and then we eat for the hour kind of thing. But it's still the same concept. On the outside of that eating window, there's no calories, no cream, no MCT, no nothing. Do that consistently for days.
No BHB, no
We want to push you.
external anything.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I do take is like it's a stevia sweetened electrolyte.
Yep.
Not even
Okay.
that.
That's gonna
That's open your
prevent
eating
That's
you-
window.
opening my window. Okay.
opening
That's
your
good
window.
enough.
That's preventing you to go to the next level.
If you want to do a sweetener of an LMT or LMNT or something like that, put it in your eating window. Outside that eating window, the only one that is okay is Dr. Boz's pucker.
And I don't take those yet. I've got some of those, but I don't take them yet because
If your chemistry's doing this good, keep pushing without it. You're doing great.
I was gonna say you're rocking
Save your money.
2.0 ketones. I mean, your DBR is around 40. If from what you say, I don't think. I mean,
Clean it up and
I would
push.
save my money and clean it up
And stay
and-
steady
and be consistent. Be clean and consistent,
for 2 weeks.
and you'll see
2
things
weeks.
change.
So I'm
Yes.
looking for 2 weeks steady. Okay.
You're looking as long as you can
As long
go.
as it- Yeah.
As long as it takes, because it may take you 2 weeks. It may take me a week.
Just know most of
There's
us
a lot of
girls north of
difference.
40 and 50 dealing with hormones. We
Yes.
got to ride this section out a little bit longer than the guys do.
Yes.
There is some reason it seems like if we push through this section too fast and you jump into that OMAD too fast, you end up crashing and burning and having to go back.
You'll go back. I mean, you
So
will.
Your
because-
body's going to say hell to the no.
Yep, your body will say, nope, you're not ready. Boom, and it'll throw you back in there.
You'll get to, I mean, so it's just a mindset of what I see for the women. And it's not making an excuse, but it's saying, I'd rather see you slow and steady and precise and clean, like he's saying, for a couple weeks.
And it's hard because
It is.
now you're fired up. You're like, yeah, I see some changes. Yeah, I want some more changes. Yeah, I want some more changes.
I'm ready to go.
Right,
Right?
you're ready to go. This is where you gotta be. You look at the long game. This
Yes.
is the long game. So you sit in a place and just let it like a good, I'm gonna throw it out there, look, good chili or stew. You just kind of let it simmer. You
Yeah.
gotta get it into place and let it simmer a while. And then because it'll be good on the other side. So that's when you just fall into that other spot. And then you simmer with that for a while.
And another way I'll show it to you is I understand you're wanting to run, and I get that because you're psyched up and you want to get to that fasting. I love the fasting phase. It's where the biggest changes come in my body. I feel the best. My mental clarity comes back.
And you hear a lot of people talking about
You will hear that. But even when you can ask Jean, when I'm on with Dr. Boz, like right now, I'm going through 50 shoulder surgeries.
We see your bruises, yes.
And therapy and everything. So I'm going through, my body's just not ready to push. I have to take pain meds every once in a while, or I'm still taking Advil to try to sleep through the night. This is not the time for me to push my body I'm going through enough. Ultimately, I would love to say I want to fast for 3 days every week again, get in that rhythm, get it going and change my chemistry and get my body going. I know I can't right now. And what you could ask Jean, when I'm on live with Dr. Boz one-on-one, she's the one that puts me in the timeout. Slow down, wait for your body. And it ticks me off because I want to run.
Yeah.
But sometimes giving your body just a little bit of grace, and this is a hard lesson I've learned, is a little bit of grace, not an excuse to jump, but grace at one level and stay there and conquer it, then push forward. And we all got to do that together, especially all of us women.
There's a balance between drive and you're not ready. I mean, there really is. And it's something that you got to kind of figure out for yourself, which really sucks, but that's the way it is. You have to have the drive to do it, but you also have to let your body get you there. You can push your body to a fast, but you will not get the benefits that somebody that lets the building blocks happen when they fast, they will get more out of it than you. You could push through it. You could do
Everybody
it.
can white knuckle through a fast.
I did it, but did I get anything out of it? You
Right.
want to put them building blocks together so you get what you need out of it.
You want to get the best out of it, yes.
Right.
Yep.
So I had another question. You mentioned your keto cardiologist is in Texas. I'm in Texas, and I am struggling with finding doctors that are even
Dr. Boyer at St. David's.
St. David's in Austin.
Austin.
Yep. Dr. Boyer, he's in there, cardiovascular consultant.
Yep, cardiovascular consultants.
Boyer.
Yep, Nathan
Boyer,
I love him.
Boyer.
Like, we literally fly to Texas for me to see him. I love him.
Yeah, that's about 4 hours from me, but yeah,
It'd be worth the trip,
might be
I'm telling
worth
you.
it. Yeah. Okay.
I fly from Ohio to see him. I do. I really do. But I trust him. And that means a lot to me to have that peace of mind. Because my doctor up here said, well, how's that keto working for you? I see.
In order to do more
Yeah,
plants.
I mean, I've gotten some really bad attitude from my PCP, and she was just really rude to me last time I was there. So I'm having to find a new one of those too.
Here's another thing to keep in mind. And this is and I don't mean it disrespectful because I love our doctors and what they do for us and try to help us. But I'm telling you, I go in with the attitude of, dude, you work for me. I'm paying you. I want your advice. You are not my parent. You're my advisor. You give me your advice, and then it's up to me to choose what is best for my body. You put your input in. But if you're not even going to be open-minded to, here's all the meds you've removed me off of. Here's where my numbers used to be and where I'm at. Here's where I was in heart failure and needed a pacemaker that you were going to put in. Now I don't need those. Now I'm off all these meds, and I didn't do that with a Mediterranean diet.
Yeah.
Which is what he told me to go do.
Which is what they told me to do, which is pretty much the Mediterranean, yeah.
And you have your numbers so you can prove it not only to yourself.
Well, that's the other thing. They won't give me a CAC test. And I mean, he won't do any of the testing that I've asked for. So
a CAC should be simple. Find a new doctor.
No.
Yep. Find a new doctor. Again, they work for you.
But again, that brings up a good point too of tracking and knowing your numbers and being able to show somebody your numbers.
It's not an argument. It's
that way you don't have to argue. Here's my numbers. This is what I track every day, every morning. This is what I read. This is what my body is telling me. When you have that information, it's kind of hard for them to say what you're doing isn't working, or they can't go against the science of your numbers when you present them that way.
Right.
So it just brings up that other side of track, know your numbers, be able to show them, and go from there.
Yeah, so it's been 20 years, I would say, since they actually said I was pre-diabetic. And I've been able to keep diabetes, type 2 diabetes away. I'm still 20 years later by doing some sort of a keto. So I started out with the Atkins and then did some sort of keto. And then like I said, I fall off the wagon quite frequently. So
Well, that's the good part of being in here with all of this group, because we are not people. I mean, even my coaching group, when I'm coaching somebody, it's like, we don't do this Monday through Friday and then Saturday and Sunday, jump off the wagon and fix it on Monday. That is not how this one works. You've got to get consistently keto. There's a reason, there's a blessing. She called it that. It's staying consistent. You're jumping off is the new freak of nature. It's not the norm no more. That if it's your birthday, it's your anniversary, you're going to pick one day, Christmas, whatever. You're going to pick a day. It's no big deal. Jump off, get right back on the next day, but it doesn't give you the right. You got to make those deals with yourself. It doesn't give you the right to jump ship again and fall off the wagon. So we're in this for the long haul. So you may have a weekend or a night that you're going out and having dinner or a birthday party or a vacation that you're celebrating. But when you come home, your butt better show back up in class and be back there on the calls on Monday morning and get going. That's
yes,
why
ma'am.
that's why we're here. So it's get back in there and get yourself back on track.
Okay.
It's not a jump and ship all the time. So
And
good job.
And
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys.
You're welcome. And it's a full lifestyle.
Mhm.
It's not a part lifestyle. It's a full lifestyle. So,
And it's not just your diet.
no.
Over in our group, things that we're talking about working on the back end of our website it is a lifestyle. It's the laundry soap we wash with or wash our clothes with. It's the soap that's in our shower. It's the air I don't have a bunch of aerosol air fresheners in my house. We use essential oils and real good essential oils. If I can't ingest them and put them in my body, I won't put them on my body. So we use all of those things. One thing in themselves doesn't sound like a big deal, but when you put all those things on top of each other, we try to live a very toxic free, healthy life. And that's how it makes it win the whole way around. I mean, I'm making fermented cabbage up there right now. What else was we working on? We was making butter,
Make cheese.
made cheese the other day, just stuff that when you can do the things, put the little bit of effort instead of eating a bunch of crap, and you build the effort to build a lifestyle that is clean and healthy. And I know what's going in our body. That's the win in it. It really is.
Yep. Thank
Good
you.
job, Jennifer. Glad you're here, honey.
Yep. Keep it up.
All right. Who we got? Monique, you want to come in? Check it.
Monique's got her notebook.
Look out. She's taking notes. She's on it.
Love it.
You hear me?
Yes. Come on in.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was glad I was able to get in. I couldn't figure this out at first. So do
I'm
you
sorry.
send a Zoom link or how do I get it?
It's the same link every week. It's in the
So I
group.
can just copy that link and put it somewhere then?
Put it in
Yes,
your
ma'am.
calendar. If you have a digital calendar,
Yeah.
save it right on your calendar every
And
week.
this, I'll say something real quick. I'll get over with. When you see the link, and this is people for on YouTube too, when you see the link in the Facebook page and you click on it, it will take you to a Zoom page. Then you'll have to
Okay.
click on launch meeting. When you click on launch meeting, then that puts you in. You have to agree to the terms. You hit the agree, and then boom, you're in. You join with audio or no audio, whatever you want. But you always will get that first screen that comes up and says Zoom in big letters, and then down underneath it in small letters, it'll say launch meeting. You always want to hit that launch meeting. So that's where I think everybody kind of gets a little bit sidetracked.
Okay, thanks. I've never done Zoom before. It's my first
Well,
one.
you're
Yeah.
doing great. See, it's a
You're
win.
here.
You got
Yeah.
here. That's all that matters.
Okay, I am new to keto and my husband is with me on this.
Nice.
He's following
That
it.
helps.
Yeah, 64 days for myself. My husband's been longer because he has eaten way more carbs than I have.
Mhm.
So I followed Dr. Boz's recommendation of lowering him gradually so it wasn't such a shock.
Absolutely.
And so I've got him down to, I think, 21, 22 carbs a day now.
Nice.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Nice work.
So one question for him, though.
Mhm.
The reason we went to keto is both of us had high blood pressure. Mine is now normal thanks to keto. My
Amen.
husband had to go on another stronger blood pressure medication 2 days ago because it was so high.
Mhm.
Now he is retiring on the 25th, and I think he's anxious,
Yep.
right? And I think that's why it's causing that. However, he still only has trace for ketones.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
all he's got at this point. He has lost 21 pounds.
I was gonna say his weight's probably fallen off of him, but
Yeah, he was a smoker. He's also quit smoking the same time we started this.
amen.
Okay.
Good
Because
job.
it really scared him. His blood pressure, we couldn't read it on the cuff anymore. Like the
Nice.
top number and stuff
Yeah.
was so high.
Okay, kudos to you, first of all.
And just know he's got a lot of things going on right now.
He
So
does.
just
Slow and
the
steady. Just slow and steady going.
Yes.
It's gonna be awesome.
just the quitting smoking at the same time you're doing this other change. Those are two big mental and physical changes happening at the same time. Kudos to him, definitely.
Both of you. Good job.
A long time ago, I was a smoker, so I
Oh,
know
really?
I know what that is. Yes, and I no longer do no smoking, no drinking. I mean, I've given everything up. It's gone. But those are two big, huge changes that he's going through that he's going to kind of need to sit right where he's at until it kind of works itself out. He probably won't get ketones right now because his body is already under some serious stress.
Another
Right.
thing, though, as with-
I'm
and he's still
suspecting
saying it. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm suspecting insulin resistant or even diabetes with him, and he didn't
Oh,
want to get the test done, right? Because he's scared
Absolutely,
to
that's
find
fine.
out. But I did order finally. I said to my husband, we're biting the bullet because we live in Canada, so it cost us a fortune to get anything from Dr. Boz's website. It's costing us $200 for those
My.
BHBs.
Oh, geez.
Shoo.
Well, if
So
there's
that's
anything
for
I
2
can help you-
containers, though. But
If
still,
there's any way we can help at all, please let us know. I know I have friends in New Zealand that like I can order a meter and send it or something. So if there's any way we can help like that, we're
yeah,
glad to
because it's
help.
outrageous. So
That's
they're
crazy.
supposed to be in tomorrow, I think.
Nice.
So
Nice. Good job.
and start it with him, right?
Well, a couple things for him. With that glucose, okay, so he's still at about 22 carbs and stuff like that a day. So he's still at a pretty high level of sugar going in his body. So you're going to keep bringing that down lower and lower, nice and slow. As that number starts coming down, those ketones will be able to start raising up. And you will be amazed when that glucose starts coming down, or those carbs start coming down, that glucose will drop, that allows the ketones to go up. So it'll be a slow, think of it like a teeter-totter, a seesaw kind of thing. As that one comes down, the other will be able to rise. But the other things I would encourage you to do, if you're doing you ordered is it the pucker you ordered? Is this the one you ordered?
No, it's the other thing that's in a can.
Oh, okay.
BHB.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what I would advise you to do on that. Use those but there's a sweetener in those. So here's the hard part in that sweetener, a lot of us, it's still like the sweeteners jack me up that are in those flavors. So the one that I can do that it doesn't mess me up is the pucker up. It's strong, it's straight ketones. There's no sweetener, no flavor, no nothing like that in it. The pucker up, they're a little bit more expensive, but to me, they're worth it. I can do one every 3 or 4 days and still help my body, help my liver get going making ketones. I don't have to do one every day, but just be mindful of that sweetener. So use those. I mean, don't waste them, right? By no means. But as his glucose comes down, those ketones will start coming up. And the other one, if you have access to MCT oil.
He's been doing that. He takes 2 tablespoons a day right now. He says that's all he can tolerate.
That's okay.
2 tablespoons?
That's a lot.
2 tablespoons? That's a good amount.
So I want you to make sure your MCT oil is C8 and C10, because some of them will be one or the other. Okay. So if you got C8 and C10, so now you're working on the liver and the brain. So good choice on that. And keep him slow and steady. And like I said, the more you bring down those carbs, the more that glucose is going to be able to drop and those ketones will rise. So if he's drinking the BHB and taking the MCT oil, those are 2 wins to help his body in the meantime get ready to start functioning on ketones. So you're going to, like Dr. Boz always says, ketones beget ketones. So even though he's drinking them right now and doing that, he's not making them yet, but we're going to teach his liver how to do that. As the glucose comes out, we'll teach him how to make ketones.
Okay,
So
that's great. Like we met with a doctor yesterday. Like we can't even get a family doctor here right now because there's just there's no doctors. So anyway, the doctor we did see yesterday was not very nice, but I actually stood up to him and I said, because he was really criticizing us and telling us get salt out of your diet. And I said, we don't do table salt. We've done mineral salt for years.
Yep.
Yeah, we've that. We've done this for 5 years. And he says, well, there's salt and everything in processed foods. I said, we don't do processed
don't
food.
eat processed foods. There's a difference.
But even before that, we didn't. We've been clean eating for a long time. And he said, well, what about your chicken? You buy? I said, we buy from the Hatterites, which is a colony here. So they're grass, or not grass, whatever you call them, free range or
Free range
whatever.
chicken. Yeah.
We
Right.
get our beef from his brother who has his own cattle. Like
Nice.
we do
Wow.
all, right?
You
And
do all the things.
he was shocked when he found out that we did that. And when I told him, I said we were on keto, he says, oh, you shouldn't be
Oh.
doing it. You should be doing the DASH diet. Have you heard of that?
Uh-uh.
Oh yeah, I looked it up and it's a lot of plant-based and all of that, right? Exactly what we're not supposed to do. Low fat.
Again,
And
prove it to
for this-
yourself.
Yeah, and he said 10 years ago, I would have told you to do keto, not anymore. If you want longevity, you need to do the DASH diet. And I said, well, I'm sorry, I disagree with you. Anyway, what can you do to help my husband at this point? Because his blood pressure was like the number in the bottom was 105. It's just too high. It's dangerous.
So they've got to keep him on those medications, but make sure you're tracking that blood pressure, because
we are.
as he's dropping that inflammation and that all comes down, first of all, make sure that he's keeping those electrolytes up, the salt in,
Yeah, the
everything
salt,
like that.
definitely.
Because he's going to drop down, that water weight's going to come off. But as that make sure he's charting it. So as that glucose is, as the blood pressure is coming down, sorry, I can't talk tonight. As that blood pressure comes down, you have it charted, because there will be a time that you need to call the doctor and say, hey, he's getting woozy, he's a little dizzy, he's not feeling really well. We may need to adjust that. And if you have all that, you could say, I started out a month ago on, here is my blood pressure. Now you put me on this medication, but now I might be dropping a little bit too low. And
He actually poo-pooed us when I brought in the charts because we've been doing this for a month.
then
So, so anyway, and then I told him, I said, okay. And he actually told us we can cut down his medication on our own.
there you go.
So I
Wow.
said, okay. And he says, the only time you need to come in is when he's unconscious.
Wow.
Too low.
Okay
blood
then.
pressure. This is the second doctor we've gone through, and we have to do walk-ins.
My
Oh goodness.
God.
Well, again, I
Poor
think
thing.
again, it comes down to learning to navigate your chemistry and your health.
Like, why do you think I've been in touch with you on
Yep.
Facebook?
I'm telling you, you are the best doctor for your body you can find. The good Lord made every mechanism we need. We just got to give it the nutrition and the power to do it. So listen, chart, watch, make your own decisions for each of your body chemistry as you go, because you've got to be comfortable with the win or the lose. You've got to be able to answer to yourself and be comfortable with what you're doing. And you can
Yes.
do that by looking at the numbers, because the scare tactics suck. Like, I mean, for the people that just run those things to scare you, just makes me so mad. Look at the numbers, look at my chart. I'm a
Yep.
person. I'm not just a protocol.
Yeah.
So
And I find it very difficult because it's all on me. My husband doesn't understand all this. I'm the one that's managing everything. We do the chronometer every day. We've done it from day one. I
Nice.
enter everything in his. I plan it all, right? And so it's like, boy, when his blood pressure was getting so high, it's like, oh my gosh, what do I tell him? Do I take him to the doctor? I don't. But when it got so high, I said, you got to go.
yeah.
Oh yeah, you gotta
Yeah.
do what you gotta do in that moment, and there's a season for everything. If that's the season you're in right now, you have to go with it, but you have to get him the attention he needs so he
Yeah.
can heal to get to a different place. Not that he's going to be on him forever, but you need, if that's
Got to
the
be healthy in the meantime.
exactly, and he's got to be here in the meantime too.
Yeah.
So that you got to do some things like that to get to where you want to go. And again, that's the long game in it. So you got to play the long game, and it sounds like you are. So
Good job.
just make sure that you for him is going to be a lot of just clean, consistent, and steady is what
Okay.
he doesn't need to run. He just walks at this point. Just walk, and it'll just
step
walk it
forward.
out. Walk it out.
And if you need over in the coaching groups with us, more one-on-one, please just reach out to us. Let us know. We'll throw you right in and get you there. If you need some private one-on-one stuff, let me know. Because
Okay. Now, according for him, now my story's a little bit different.
Okay.
My story is a lot more complex. I had a terrible accident in 2002 where I fell 18 feet. And I
Ooh.
did a lot of damage. I actually died, but came back, and I did a lot of damage to my body. And ever since then, it took me 13 years to heal this body. But in the meantime, I've had other trauma, and I have leaky gut, where I have a lot of food intolerances. I can't take anything with preservatives, any kind of chemicals, anything like that. So when I discovered I had high blood pressure, which was really funny because I don't eat much. I thought this was a problem and did research and landed up finding Dr. Boz, reading her book, the first one. And because I was scared of keto, I thought I'd heard all these horror stories and stuff, but I thought, what am I going to do? But after listening to Dr. Boz and all her videos, I bought her program and started following what she said. Now, for me, my problem is I couldn't eat. So before I started keto, there was absolutely nothing anymore that I could eat that didn't make my stomach go way out to here, pain, nauseous, whatever.
Okay,
So
heal
I
that
thought,
gut first, yeah.
yeah. So I thought, well, whatever. I got to try something. Like, what am I going to do? Like, I'm starving myself, right? And so anyway, started this. It wasn't too bad. So for me to lower my carbs wasn't that as big an issue as my husband because I was only getting 64 or so a day, right? And the only things I could eat, believe it or not, is sourdough bread, which is unusual, but it's the way it's made. And I used to make my own. And I would have oatmeal sometimes, milk kefir, and then I would have a supper. And as soon as I eat supper, I would be sick. So I thought, okay, so started doing this. Well, then I found I couldn't use the milk kefir because it was too high for the carbs, but I found a way around that because they need sugar, right? But half and half, or what we call cream milk here, has enough sugar in it to make milk kefir, and it is so much better. And I got the carbs down to, like, I think I take half a cup now, just enough to give my gut something good, right? And it's 5.4 carbs or something. And that, plus I do make my own kombucha, which I also need, and I've got my pH down to between 3 and 4 for that. And but when I started doing this and trying to introduce the fat, okay, well, I couldn't do dairy. I couldn't do gluten and I couldn't do dairy. So it's like, what do I eat? What do I have? Well, I listened on one of Dr. Boz's video. I love to learn, so that's a good thing. She said that real cream has no lactose. Oh, really? Well, I got the whipping cream from the store, reacted to the carrageenan in it, and I landed up with a black eye.
Oh,
Yep.
From it. And I thought, what the heck now?
I just want to say, you sound like my soul sister. You really do. Because we have kefir, we make our
Kombucha.
own kombucha. I react the carrageenan that's in that stupid heavy cream. And everybody says, oh, it's 0 carbs. Yeah, but it still has crap in it. And my body goes through the roof when I drink it. So if I get it straight from the cow, I'm good to go.
Well, I found that.
Right?
So yeah, it costs us $9 for a liter.
Right?
Right? Yeah. But we don't care.
Yep.
Because
no, it's worth it. It's worth it.
Right? So there goes my sourdough bread a month supply.
Well, sourdough bread, there is no way around that. That just needs to
No,
go.
I mean, I'm talking about what I used to eat before for cost wise. Now
now it goes to your cream. Exactly.
Yeah.
You'll appreciate this. I just lost my sourdough starter that I had for like 3 decades.
I know, I had one too.
I was so bummed. I was so bummed. But anyways, a couple things I would throw in for you. Okay. Work on that gut health first. So keep getting those carbs down as low as you can. Keep everything down as low as you can. Stay as clean as you are, everything like that. But the biggest thing I'd add to yours is if you're not already, making the good homemade bone broth. And I mean, get the oxtail, get the chicken feet. You want is all the gristly, yucky pieces, parts that you can make
Talk to that butcher. Talk to the people that get your chickens from, you get your beef from. Do you have any bones?
We got all the soup bones and stuff.
Yep.
And so here's the thing that I do a little bit different with it is I put that on my stove and I simmer that stuff for 5 days. I can literally crush the bones with my fingers by the time I stop stewing it. It looks like a witch's brew. I do 2 big 20-quart canners at the same time because we save all of our bones for weeks and weeks and then we put them all in there. But I'm telling you, simmer that until everything is out in it. And when I start I'm having gut issues too because of my surgeries and having to take Advil all the time is tearing me up. And I have to eat when I take them or I get nauseous. Start on that bone broth, sip it as many times a day you can on an empty stomach. Just let that bone broth soothe from entrance to exit and heal that slime coat that goes the whole way down.
Yeah.
Use that tool for the bone broth and just as many times a day right now as you can, sip on it and get that in. And
sorry. how I've been making mine is I use the slow cooker and I put it in, if you add apple cider vinegar
Mhm.
to it, which I make my own, to it, it softens all that. And I do it for, I did it for 24 hours and it's gelled
Mhm.
with that, right? So that is what I've been doing. But I remember you mentioned that to me on Facebook. However, what happened to me last week, I almost had to go to the hospital.
Oh, no.
I have diverticulitis.
Mhm.
And I had so much pain. Like, and it didn't matter what I was having, even the bone broth, as long as I stayed on the milk kefir and the bone broth, I had no reaction. The minute I tried to eat anything, I became really, really ill. And it was to the point, and I don't like doctors, as you now know.
Right.
I was so sick. I was not like, I have been nauseous with this, with keto right from the start. The salt water did help me. Around 3 o'clock, it was like all of a sudden my stomach would just extend for no reason. And I'd be really sick to my stomach. And I thought, well, this is awful. That went on for a long time. But guess what I found out? Your guys' last video call you had, and somebody mentioned this book, the one with the donuts on it.
Pamela did. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
it was Pam.
Okay. Anyway, that interests me. I got the book and I found out about this Dr. Barry.
Mhm.
To me, I'm a follower of the Lord, and to me, God led me to this.
Yep.
I watched a couple of his videos, and he talked about combinations of food.
Mhm.
Yep.
And he said, you mix plant food with meat, any kind of that, it'll make you sick.
Yep. Don't work right.
It's the microbiome in your gut that you got one going strong and then you got one that you're going to starve them. Then you rotate and you add. I mean, that's why the carnivore is so easy. If you can get your gut healthy enough and do that and stay there for a while, but doing that carnivore and just eating the meat and eliminating the outside noise and let that gut calm down, you'll feel so much better.
Well, here's what happened. I thought I couldn't digest the protein or the fat. That's not the issue. It's the carbs.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Cut 'em out.
So I cut them out. And for 3 nights now, I have not had a sore stomach.
Nice.
It'll work.
I'm telling you, if you look at almost every veteran in our group, all of us are pretty much carnivore. Like I said, I don't say I'm carnivore just because when I go out to eat if we go out once every 2 weeks, we'll go out and sit down at a restaurant. I get a salad while I'm waiting for my steak to come. Other than that, the rest of the week, it's meat, beef, bacon, butter, and eggs.
How do you get yourself like, I like meat, but I can't eat much. Like, my protein is too low, and I know that.
She used to be the same way.
I hated it.
She used to be the same way. And to get her to eat meat was, she was a vegetarian. So, but now she only eats meat.
You go slow.
You go slow. Yeah.
And
even
you'll
with
sit down at that ribeye someday and you'll be like, dang, that baby's good. And I'm ready for it. And it's okay now. I mean,
Yeah.
It takes time, but you'll get there, but just slow and steady and wipe out the noise. Just cut the carbs and quit trying to juggle.
Okay, so you guys had mentioned today that I didn't know this about this, because I thought I was in number 5, the 16-8,
Mhm.
right? Isn't that the 16-8?
Yeah. Number 5 is.
Yep.
Okay, but I had the cream and a sweetener in my coffee. Like, I'm up early at 6 a.m. and I don't usually eat breakfast until 10 or between 10 and 11. So, but that's not my 8-hour window now.
Oh, your 8-hour window.
You got 12-hour eating
cream.
window, don't you?
Yeah, but because, believe it or not, because if I can drink organic coffee with cream, MCT oil in it, and I have a little sweetener in it, that
Uh-oh, you froze.
Uh-oh.
my internet's cutting in and out.
There
Oh,
it
there
is.
you go.
Okay, now
Okay.
you're back.
I don't know if you heard what I said. My internet sometimes cuts in and out. I have coffee, cream, like the real cream, and MCT oil, tablespoon. And I do put salt and a little bit of stevia, but I have a pure stevia I use. So that does not bother me as long as I use organic coffee. So I
But
would
whether it
drink.
bothers you or not, it's still opening your eating window.
Okay, so, but because I'm trying to fix this gut, and that's where I'm getting my fat is through the coffee.
But the coffee's not healing your gut.
No? Well, then
No.
what am I supposed to do for fat? I can't do dairy.
I would do your bone broth till your gut's healed.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, you need to heal your gut so you can absorb the
can-
fat and use it like you should be. Right now, you're not being able to do
Bone
that.
broth is your answer right now for just about every step you want to go through.
Let's do one step.
Do bone
a
broth
time.
and meat, bone broth and meat, bone broth and meat, and cut out the noise till your gut heals.
So is the bone broth though part of the carb, like the 8-hour window or not?
Ultimately, yeah, you'd want it to be in your window.
But
So
you may want to heal that gut first.
I would- yeah.
Let's worry about healing that gut first. Then we'll take you to where you need to be.
the next window.
That way you get more out of that step.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We need to fix this problem first.
Healing, getting that bone broth in you on an empty stomach and letting it heal that mucosa layer from the entrance to exit. That's your goal. You got to hold tight there before you move forward. As far as your food goes, I would eliminate the noise. I would eliminate the chaos to let that gut heal. So the diverticulitis isn't a problem. So all of that stuff can heal. Every time you add something different to it, you're just disrupting that microbiome. Let everything calm down and heal. Then you can push forward. Then that kombucha will come into play. Then all that stuff, the kefir, all that stuff will be great down the road. But the coffee isn't healing your gut.
Yeah.
The
It doesn't
bone-
hurt though. What I'm saying is like it hasn't bothered me.
Eh.
So, but the other thing is, so I guess for me, because of the fact that I've been so haven't been able to, I don't eat food to enjoy because I eat food because I have to.
Right.
Right. And so the coffee was the one thing that was a joy for me. You know what I mean? Like the one thing I could have that, okay, I'm not sick.
Okay, I would put that in your eating window. Let that be your treat right now in your eating window. Everything
Okay.
outside that eating window, have 1 cup a day that makes you feel better, gives you a little dopamine response, whatever. That's fine. But put it in something that can't be your all day, because that changes the acid in your stomach. There's just again, you're back to concentrate on that bone broth and the protein, get that good meat in you. Let that heal, then push forward.
And don't worry about that 16-8. Just keep sipping the bone broth when I'm hungry or just all day.
I would sip it all day till your gut's healing.
Okay.
I mean, it's going to be a change right now just from what
Your
went on.
microbiome's going to change.
But it's you're getting to the point where you're going to need to use that. You're going to need to use your stomach and your digestive tract to handle what you're
the
going to
fat that's going to be coming.
the fat
Because if
that's
not,
going
you're
to
gonna
be
end up
coming,
with-
because you need to process that to run on. If you don't have that ability, then you're going to spin your wheels basically. So you need to heal that first, and then we'll get into this next step. You know what I'm
So is
saying?
that gonna make the keto flu worse? Like it's just the last couple days here where I'm not nauseous.
I mean,
And
stay
the
slow.
leg cramps are horrible.
You got to keep the salt coming in.
Make sure with your bone broth, I would put a little salt in there too.
I put a lot of salt in
Yeah,
there.
and I do the soul water. I made my own.
Soleil water, yeah.
Or Soleil water, however you say
That'll
it.
help with the cramps.
Yeah. And
If
I'm
you're
also
doing all the
on-
right things. I would just hold tight. I would just don't try to push right now. Hold tight till we heal your gut. You're going to know. If you're 3 days in with no gut issues, keep going. Add the bone broth, keep going. Hold tight. Don't push.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
But maybe hubby will be ready. So good job, Monique.
And here's one thing too that you're doing good. You're listening to your body. So
Mhm.
you have that in your favor. Listen to your body. Just do one thing at a time and listen to how your body reacts. And then you've gotten this far. I'm not telling you nothing that you don't know, but it's kudos to you that you're listening to your body. Continue to listen to your body. Your body will tell you what to do.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Good
Bet.
job. Welcome. Is it Mimi? Come on in, Mimi.
This is Mimai.
Mimi.
Thank you. I had some blood work done and I'm seeing my doctor on Wednesday. And from the other comments, I'm getting a little nervous about going, but my cholesterol came in way high and my LDL came in way high. And my triglycerides are low, my HDL is high, and my VLDL is low. When I saw Dr. Boz's show with the guy that ate the Oreos, I started to think that I too might be a lean mass hyper responder. And my body mass is, I'm 5'8" and I weigh, I almost am at my wedding weight, but I weigh 128 pounds.
Nice.
And so I mean, my blood pressure normalized. I've been on keto, April will be a year. I'm like 110/65. My ketones have just started to like bump up. I was hanging out at like 0.5, 0.4, 0.6, and now I'm like 1.1, 1.3, and my glucose is 98. When I went in for my fasting blood work, I checked my glucose at home and I was 94. I go in for my fasting numbers at the hospital and it comes back 107. So I'm like, well, I have all my morning glucoses for about the last year. So even though it's 107, if she says anything about it, I'm not worried because that's what I've been working on for a year. And I've got stuff to show her that it's been lower. I had an A1C done in November and I was 5.5. So I had asked for another A1C with this blood draw, but I don't know if they got it in or not, because I wondered if I was up or down after coming through the holidays.
Yeah. Well, a lot of that, as you get your numbers, just keep a hold of everything, because they will go up and then they'll come back down and level out. So all those numbers will. So again, you've got to be mindful of keep your glucose numbers, keep your ketone numbers, keep your blood pressure, keep all those tracks so you have leverage to go into your doctor with, and be ready for that. And that's okay. But you've got to be mindful.
Do you think it's because when I was trying to get my protein numbers up, if I concentrated too heavily on cheese?
Cheese can do it for I can't answer that for you. It's going to be what your numbers are telling you. When you eat the cheese, try it. When you eat the cheese, check your numbers, eat the cheese, check your numbers, and what happens for the next 2 hours? Does it go up and then come right back down? Does it go up and stay up? What's your numbers do afterwards?
I know last year when, because my activity, I live in Traverse City, Michigan. So my activity level is a lot different in the wintertime than it is in the summertime, because I have a landscaping job that I do. And I mean, I'm just outside a ton more. I joined the Y, but in years past, when my cholesterol has gone high, I tell her, she goes, do what you did before to bump it down. And I know how to bump it down. I take out all the cheese and I add in a half a cup of beans every day, which still keeps me under 20 carbs. So, I mean, and that'll bounce my cholesterol down. Do you have any comments?
I wouldn't do a half a cup of beans, but that's your call. Even though just because it fits in your macros does not mean it needs to go in your body. If you're still struggling with high glucose, the beans would go, because those beans are raising your glucose. So they may fit in your numbers. But if I had 50, if I was I can't even get close to 20 carbs. So let's just use the example. If you're going to get to 15 and all 15 of those carbs is just a big bowl of beans, that's all you ate, was all your carbs for the day. Those of us that are insulin resistant, you know what our numbers would do as soon as we ate that bowl of beans? It would spike way up. It would go up and probably not come back down. That bowl of beans would not be worth any.
I did have a CGM, and what I was surprised was that I could go when I took it. I mean, my glucose, my glucose didn't change. It hung out, like the CGM told me that at night I went down to between 60 and 80. And then during the day, I was hanging out between 98 and 104, 107, something like that.
It's not awful, but you would want to get that, you want to get that normal down. So I would just, whatever you got to do, watch your numbers and tighten it up to get those numbers down into good ranges all the time, instead of bouncing up and down in it. You want to get down there and stay there. So watch your numbers, see what it's doing. If you got the CGM, you can see where your numbers are changing, where they're not, what your body's able to handle and what it's not. You'll be able to do that.
So do you guys not eat a lot of cheese? You're eating more meat and bone broth and
we ate eggs.
Eggs, meat.
Eggs I like. Yeah, I eat a lot of eggs.
Now, like right now, I'm having to take medications. So I'll have a piece of cheese when I take my meds, and that seems to help me, my stomach a little bit, just not feel so nauseous. But normally, no. I mean, when we're on normal, it's, meat and bone broth and fat and.
Yeah. No, my husband, he saw how much weight I lost, and he's like, why do you keep giving me a bagel? And I was like, when the student's ready, the teacher will come. And he's like, and
take
so
the bagel
like,
away.
6 or 8 weeks before his appointment, he switched to a savory breakfast. He cut down on his carbs, and then he goes in and his blood work is great, and his doctor's happy because he lost 15, 20 pounds. And now
Those guys go so fast. Just know that's
I'm afraid I'm going to go in. My doctor's going to beat me up, and want me put me on a statin or worse, so I'm like,
guys will go faster than you. That's all. Just stay slow and steady. And that's okay with us girls. You got to remember that.
Yeah, we take longer, don't we?
We do. We're slow and steady is going to win this race. Yep.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Good job. You're welcome. We got Vicky and David left, I think. Okay. We got time for 2 more. Nope. Where are we at? 1:45. Okay. Okay. Come on in, Vicky. You want to jump in? Check in real quick. Hang on. We got you muted, hon.
Froze, maybe? Possibly.
Maybe.
She's not moving.
David, are you there? Can you check in tonight?
Oh, there
Vicky. She is. Come on. You're still muted, Vicky.
Yeah, I'll be ready.
You're still muted. You might have to tap your screen to hit unmute.
There we go.
There you are.
All right.
Hi. Hi. Well, I wrote my question in the Facebook group. the Facebook notes.
Okay.
And you wrote me back and asked me if I was going to be there, but that was after I was already in there that I saw it.
Okay.
So sorry. So I went to grandkids and I went to grandkids and my eating window was bigger.
Okay.
And, but then, when I do that, it makes me crave carbs.
Absolutely. It's like
really
taking the
hard.
alcoholic. It's like taking the alcoholic out for a beer.
Exactly. And you can't do that.
And every time sweet touches your tongue, you're going to crave it.
Oh yeah. So when I got home, I did a 40-hour fast and my ketones were still low. And I'm like, nope, I'm going straight into sardines. Good. So I quit the fast, went straight into sardines, and my ketones did come up.
Good.
Which made me feel really powerful because I was able to change that and see it. But honestly, if you're not checking your numbers, you're not going to know.
Nope. You're
just not going to know you're out of whack.
And how volatile those numbers are is for you to not check. If you're not checking, there is no way you can navigate how to do it. But what I think the question over there had something to do with why your glucose stayed high, was high when you were fasting. Does anybody?
On my 40-hour fast, it stayed high.
Okay.
It was in the ones.
Okay, so here's the story behind that. If you are fasting and you are not intaking any calories or any glucose or anything going in, and your glucose is rising, it's coming from somewhere. So consider that a win. The fast is drawing that glucose out of the muscles, out of the liver, out of the things. So if your number's going up and nothing has went in your mouth, that's a win. You're cleaning house. So good job.
It's actually a good sign.
Yep. Awesome. But I did check it one afternoon and I did have lower glucose numbers and I had higher ketones.
Mhm.
So
And
I was at a
notice that
1.
it'll go in a wave
Yeah.
throughout the day, depending on
How much energy you're using, how stressed you
whatever
are.
stress, all kinds of
Well,
factors.
and I have a CGM on,
Okay.
and it was just staying high, and I'm like, oh no, I really needed this.
Yep.
So I guess
But it's
that's what.
such a-
And go ahead.
It's just such a good teaching tool. So when you see what your numbers are doing, you learn exactly what's bothering you and what's not. So
Exactly. Plus, I wanted to tell you, I went to Dollar General and they had little tiny candy molds in hearts, and I made the brown
Butter
butter
bites?
bites.
Nice.
They are so good and they look so cute. They look just like chocolates, which
Nice.
is kind of bad that it looks like that, but they're
good.
just, it's like, say, okay, you want a treat, here's one,
Yep. Good job. Nice work. Those
so
brown butter bites
that
go
was
in.
really good. Yeah. So thank you very much, Tammy. I'm
You're
glad you're
welcome.
doing better.
Thank you and
Keep
welcome to the tribe.
on keeping on.
That's right.
One
I won't
step-
let her stop.
I'm too bullheaded
Good
to stop.
job.
Come on
Good
in,
job.
David. Right there, David. There you go. Maybe there you are.
Hey.
Hey,
How you
come on.
doing, David?
Hey, good evening. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. So, definitely fell off the wagon a bit this weekend, mainly in terms of sleep. But I traveled and I didn't sleep well. But this morning I had 95 and 1.2, and I just tested right now and it was 1.1 and 86. I was intimidated by shifting my eating window, but I just ate from 6 to 6:30, which is better for me. And then, so if I'm doing 8 and 16 for the moment, I think maybe this week what I'm aiming for is 6 to 6:30 is my eating window, and see if I can pull that off for a bit. And so one quick question about the eating window. Say I go with 6 to 6:30 or something close to that.
You mean 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m.? Is that what you're saying? Or are you saying
Yeah.
6 a.m. to 6 p.m.?
Yeah, 6 p.m. for a half hour for the second eating window. And then the first eating window could be like 11:30 or even like 1 or 1:30.
Okay, wait a minute.
Then your
There's
eating
no two-
window.
There's
then
no two
that's
eating
one
windows.
eating window.
Your eating window starts at the first calories that go in your mouth that morning, and your eating window doesn't stop until the last calories that day. So however many hours that is, that's how you're eating, how many hours you're eating with. So if you have your first calories in at 11 o'clock in the morning and you eat your supper at 6 p.m., your
That's
eating window is
seven.
a 7-hour eating window.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not two eating windows. You don't get the first one and then a gap and then a first one, the second one. You want the
Just so your terminology is correct. That's all.
just so we understand
Okay.
we're on the same language.
You're within 8 hours. So you're doing
Yeah.
8 hours.
Okay.
And then you're not eating for 16.
Yeah. And
Okay.
so is it better, like if I get comfortable with 6 to 6:30 p.m. as my second eating meal, which I think I can,
Okay.
is it better if I'm eating at 1 p.m. rather than 11:30? Probably so, right?
The tighter that eating window and the earlier that eating window, the better.
Well, so
In a perfect world, eat from 11 to 2.
yeah, no, that's not going to happen yet with the way I'm running my energy in the day, but it might, I might be able to skew it that way. But let's just say that I'm doing my meal in the evening at 6,
Mhm.
then eating at 1 is better than eating at 11:30.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Eating
Okay.
at 3 would be 3 to 6 would you're going to work towards the goal of closing that in.
Okay, so tight and early are the priorities.
Yes.
Okay, got it. And then just briefly, what's your prerogative on salads?
Salads is a whole lot of jumboing over in Chronometer to make sure you get it all put in Chronometer, unless you order just a Caesar salad
I'm
Caesar
not necessarily
dressing.
going to do that chronometer thing all the time.
Well, we need to know how do you know how many carbs you're consuming?
I'm not going to do it perfect. Not right now.
Okay. Do the best you can do. If you're going to get a salad, get a Caesar salad, extra dressing, no croutons.
Well, I wouldn't touch conventional dressing.
Good.
So, but what I'm saying is like, say I get a salad from Chopped. That's a fast food salad place we have here. It'd be like this big. But the gist of what I'm getting you're saying is don't eat that big. Like if you're going to eat a salad, eat like something like that.
I'm not even saying that. It depends on what's in your salad. Are
Yeah,
you
what's-
talking just lettuce? Are you talking a bunch of veggies? Are you talking some chickpeas? Are you talking tomatoes?
Chopped greens and arugula, avocado, hard-boiled eggs, chunks of bacon. It's just a Cobb salad.
Okay.
But you got to figure out, because put it in your chronometer one time. You don't have to do it every time, but if you do
I'm
it once,
not ready for that step. I'm not interested yet.
okay,
just
then
wanna
I
get-
can't guess on because half an avocado is like 12 carbs. So
Well, no, I'm just saying like it from what I'm getting from you all and Dr. Boz's literature, you don't have to do a ton of vegetables on this diet.
no, go to your meat and
It's
your
not about the
protein and your
vegetables.
fat is what you need.
It's
You
about-
don't need a salad
It's about the fat.
and the protein.
You're going to
Okay.
you're going to switch your fuel source from carbs and sugar to fat. That is going to be your fuel source.
And
So-
those sardines have a huge array of vitamins.
Mhm.
Okay, so next thing, how does a person know if they have keto flu? Like I've been blowing my nose all day, but I think it's because my immune system's down from not sleeping well this weekend.
Could
What's
be,
probably going on with you if
but
you're
it's
dropping
inflammation.
you're dropping inflammation, your nose will drip like water. Now, if you have an infection coming out or something, but if it's literally water,
Clear.
Yes.
I mean, I did massage therapy and I remember I would have to wear a mask or a tissue because I would bend over working on a patient and water is dripping out. That is
That's
inflammation coming out of your body.
Inflammation out of your
Good
body.
job.
Yeah, no, I've been running like
You'll
I
pee
mean, there's
15
been
times a
some
day.
there's been some yellow mucus when I've blown it a few big times, but a lot of times it's just been like water.
That's
Um,
That's
inflammation.
inflammation coming out. Same thing when you pee 15 times a day.
Okay,
all.
so anything
good.
other than drinking water, salt, and sleeping to work through the inflammation bit?
That inflammation will keep coming down as you get tighter,
Okay.
as your eating window gets tighter, as we work into fasting, all of that
You want
inflammation,
you want that information out of you.
you want the water
Yeah.
out of the cell.
So
Okay. And if I'm feeling this sort of head cold type thingy, might it be good to still go ahead and do my sauna and cold bath and put the stressors on this mitochondria?
oh
Yep.
yeah.
Absolutely. Get a neti
Yep.
pot. Do you have a neti pot?
I used to, yeah.
Find a neti pot, do some saline solution up in the sinuses, dry the sinuses up. But for the most part, if it's the keto flu, salt is usually your answer in it. Salt or the minerals, the little keto drops, like they sit here on my desk all day long. I mean,
Yeah,
there's-
mine just came in the mail today.
Yep.
Okay. And how like did y'all have headaches at first
Mhm.
and then they went away?
Yep.
First of all, you're withdrawing from carbs and sugar. Your chemistry is going, your minerals are changing in and out. All of that is happening. So it's one of those, let everything you've ran really fast. And I see you, I know your routine, all of that. You are so good at all these things. You're running really fast. So you and Lance could handle that. If I would try to run like you are, it would never work. So you're jumping a lot of steps and throwing a lot of steps in at one time. So that's where I kind of just want to slow you down for a minute. But to hear the inflammation is coming out, you're doing sauna, you're doing the cold plunge, you're doing all those things. Your body is
If you have a headache and you
water and salt.
take some salt, if you get a headache, take some salt. If the headache does not go away, then you are having a reaction to lowering your carbs.
Or
So-
you're dehydrated.
Or
so
you're
it's water.
dehydrated. But
All
the
right.
salt
And
the
then-
salt in the water should take care of the dehydration or your minerals.
Okay.
So if you
see,
still continue to have a headache, you're withdrawing from some carbs.
and then Okay. And see, Tammy, I didn't tell you guys this, but like a year and a year or two ago, I was doing some keto, but this group has inspired me to do the intermittent fasting part. That's something I never really did. And so for a week or two, I was doing no meals until like 2:45 p.m.
Nice.
And that's where I think I hit that 5.0 ketone last week. I have never hit something like that. And my Dr. Boz calculation was like 14 or 15 or under 20 or something.
Wow.
But now I'm not in that zone. But one question I have is like,
I love
uh,
it.
and you can please answer this relative to me. Like, what is ketosis for me? Like, is ketosis a Dr. Boz 60? Is ketosis a Dr. Boz 20? Like,
Your
what would you all say is ketosis for me?
ketosis is getting you making steady ketones and that glucose coming down. So if you're way over the 0.5, 0.7 range of being in ketosis, so you're in ketosis, but the goal of what you're trying to do is you're trying to stress that mitochondria. So it's not just making a little bit of a ketone. You want to put the stress on that body like you're doing with all of the mitochondrial things you're doing, the sauna, the plunge, all of that, you're doing that. But you just got to do it in steps so that you can bring that window closer and closer. Then you can work on that intermittent fasting and keeping it totally clean. No snacks, no peanuts, no nothing on that outside that eating window. You keep that cleaned up. I can't imagine how fast your chemistry is going to go.
Well, so like for you, Lance, like, do you basically have a ketone number that you sort of aim to get in the mornings, like
Nope.
around 2, around 2.5, around 3?
Nope. I'm looking at glucose, how low I can get my glucose. My ketones will come and my body will run on the ketones. And here's something for you too. If you're consistent enough about it, you'll find that you'll start making this, you'll get this bump of ketones and you'll start making all these ketones and you're reading, like you said, 5 ketones, something like that.
Awesome. I can't even imagine.
At some point, your body will come back and lower the amount of ketones in your system because you don't need them. You are not running on them. So you may get right now, you may get this spike because your body has overproduced ketones because it says, hey, we need a bunch of ketones because that's what we're starting to run on. And I need fuel and I'm running hard. So I'm going to make this many and just throw it out there. And your body doesn't use them. You just pee ketones out. So you pee any extra out that you don't run on. When I was as lean as I was, when I got really lean, and I got Dr. Boz ratios down in the 20s, almost the teens. I never got to the teens, but I got down, I was 200 pounds. I was actually under 200 pounds, under my high school weight. My glucose was down in the 50s, solidly. I found that my ketone number was not very high because I didn't need them to run on. My body would produce enough ketones to run on, but not in excess. Does that make sense?
He became
efficient. All right, so check out this question. So just a hypothetical. So suppose for some reason I never was able to get any advice on this in the future, and all of a sudden I realize I am definitely eating fats diet. There's no doubt about it. I'm hitting like 1.1 ketones on a regular basis, but my blood sugar is almost always under 80. Then that's probably a sign that I'm in ketosis.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. You are winning, dude.
I mean, you're right now if you're where you said you were at, I mean, you are in ketosis, but it's it's what you want to heal and what you want to do. The deeper into ketosis that you get, the more healing you get at a cellular level. So you could be in ketosis with a glucose of 80 and a ketone of 1. That may put you in ketosis, but that is something that you could live on. But if you want more deep healing to your cells, to your liver, to your kidneys, to your heart, to your brain, you have to be consistently down lower into ketosis, or that DBR ratio. You want to stay in the 20s. If you really want some healing, to heal at the cellular level, you got to get down and stay in the 20s, not come out.
Well, you're going to bounce out a little bit. Don't be alarmed if you bounce out of that because your glucose is going to fluctuate that little bit. But as a general rule, what he's saying, absolutely. But where you're at, you're going to get to one level and your numbers are going to be there, and then it's going to stop working. So what you're doing right now is working. So hold tight, keep that eating window, start closing that eating window a little bit. You're doing great. Your numbers are there, but we want to get every step hit to move you forward so that when this stops working, okay, now we add the next stressor. I don't want you to add all the stressors at one time. That's why I'm trying to kind of slow you down and just hit pause to kind of, let's make sure you're hitting all these levels. So when we get to the end, I want to push you into the fasting. Nope. I want to push you into the, get the long-term goal is to get you into those 72-hour fasts. But we got to get everything else laid before that. And we'll
Yeah,
work through that in
you got to put
class.
the building blocks together correctly.
Is it like a fair statement to say it's okay to wait till headaches go away before trying to fast?
I don't want you fasting.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't do that until
We got to get all these steps laid in order and laid and comfortable before we push you into fasting. Intermittent fasting is one thing. Now, cleaning up that outside that window, yes. Not 72, 24, 70, 48, and 72s yet. No.
You should be without headaches. You should fall into an at least a 48-hour fast when you're
ready. You're not
when you're
there.
ready. You're not even close to being ready yet.
That's what we'll get into all that in class, because I don't want you pushing too far too fast. That's why I'm saying you got to slow down. You got to get those fat-based hormones working. We got to get everything going, but your numbers are amazing.
Your body's telling you
phenomenal.
Your body's telling you something if you have a headache. It's two things. You're either dehydrated, low on minerals, which the salt and water will help, or you're
withdrawing from carbs.
Withdrawing from carbs. That means you still have too many carbs in your system. So if you take salt while you have a headache and it goes away, that means you are dehydrated.
Yeah.
If you take salt and it doesn't go away, that means you still need to work on lowering your carbs.
Keep drinking.
As you reach some more water.
You got this, David. You're doing so good. I'm so proud of you. I just want to make sure we just got to slow you down enough that we make sure we're hitting all these markers before we push you forward, because by the end of this, you're going to be fasting and feeling like a rock star.
All right, I'm just gonna get consistent with what I'm up to at the moment. Not eat past 6:30, blah blah blah. Well, super. This is super helpful.
That's awesome.
Good.
All right, we'll be on class. Anybody that's in my coaching groups will be on tomorrow night at 7. And I'll put that over in the group just to make sure. But please, everybody, if you're in a coaching group, get over. I sent out invites today. We'll get everybody moving in that. If you're not, if you're just watching and you want in a coaching group, please reach out to me and let me know. We can still get you in. And if not, all the supplies that we need to do this journey and work together is on journeytoketo.com under resources. So jump over there, use our links. It helps us a lot. Make sure you like and follow. And we will see you next week online.
One quick question
everybody.
for y'all.
What?
Do y'all still use MCTO at all or not?
She does. I don't.
Yep.
And you don't, because you want to make sure your liver is producing those ketones by itself?
Well, I don't have as much metabolic damage as she does, and I can jump into ketosis and get in there quicker than she can. She needs that little bit of more jump start. So I really don't use
Your
the
body's making
MCT.
ketones like a rock star. I wouldn't.
That's not a tool that I have in my toolbox. No.
And if you're making ketones that high without any MCT and without any BHB in your body, is that all you?
That 5 was all me.
There you go.
Then
you don't need
the tools.
You don't need to add extra ones in there. So you're good.
Okay, I just been adding a lot of oil.
Good.
But that's where
it's coming.
That's where some of it's coming from then. I mean, you're doing it correctly.
Good job. All right. All right, everybody. Have a great week. See you tomorrow, David. Everybody else,
Thanks,
have a good
guys.
week. See you next
Good
week.
night, guys.
Good night.